All right, everyone. So now I think everything is almost completed. We are getting the data back to our reducer. So we just have to get the data in our index, and based on that, we have to render that. And to do that, I think we have already done the same thing again. So what we have to do, we'll take here, for example, the value, or basically the state value from that reducer. We have to access that using use selector. So what we have to do basically, so if I just go to a reducer, you can see that this is the value that, or basically the key that we have to check. So this will be nodes list. So I'll just copy this, and this will be nodes list. And the second thing we need, and that is basically, if I just go back again, we have to take this particular is nodes data fetching also to check that whether the data is getting loaded or not. All right, so this also we have to take, and this will be equal to use selector, and here we have to pass state, and this will be state dot, and then what you have to pass, you have to pass this reducer name, and I think we have already done that one. So this will be nodes list reducer. So we just have to paste it here, and then if I just log this, and let's see what we are getting. So this will be nodes list and is nodes data fetching. Let's save this, and let's remove this console from this reducer, so it will be easy. So let's check what we are getting. So if I just refresh this page, see that now we are getting the data back. All right, but you'll notice one thing is that this data fetching is not getting changed because we haven't called that action in our Saga. And to do that, what we can do, you'll see that in the action we have already created one particular action for that, whether the data is fetching or not, to check. What we can do basically, we can copy this, and in our Saga, before the API is getting load, we can call that action. That means the API is not getting loaded, API is in loading state, and this is the best way of doing this loading state. So here you can do, for example, loading state to check whether data is loading or not. And how you can do that, this will be simple yield put, and then you just have to paste it here, and then you just have to trigger this particular action. Now what this will do basically, this will give you the status as true because the API is not getting loaded. Now if I just save this, you'll see that one very important thing, and if I just refresh this page, you'll see that this is coming true all the time because we get the data, but still this is coming as true. How you can change that? What you have to do basically, there is two ways. Either you can just pass some value here, for example false, once you'll get the data. Another way is that, because here actually you can see that in this particular action you are getting the data back, that means the data is fetching is successful. In this reducer, what you can do, once you will get the data back, you can just make that is nodes data fetching as false. That's it. That means what you are doing, the first time this will be true, once you'll get the data back, you are making this one as false. Now if I now save this, and let's see what we are getting. Now let's refresh this page. I'll see that this is coming true for the two times, then it is false because the data is now present. See, first time this is false, then we trigger that particular action in our Saga, so this is true, then we are getting the data back, then it is false. How we have done that, I will again explain. Let's go to our Saga. So first time we have triggered this particular action, and in that action if you just go to our reducer, you'll see that this is true, so that is getting true. Now once we are getting the data back, so we are checking if the response is true, that means the data is now present, and once the data is present in this reducer, we are just making this one as false. I hope you are getting this one. All right, if you have any query, just give a comment in the discussion section. I will be ready to help. All right, don't worry. So now you'll see that everything is working fine. So if I just refresh this page, so this is coming true, we are getting the data back, and this is false. What we have to do now, we just have to go to our index, and here we can just remove this dummy data because this is no need. And here what we can check here, if this is nodes data is fetching, means the data is getting loaded, then we can return here div, and here we can give like data, or let's give nodes data is fetching or loading, please wait. That's it. And next what we have to do here, we can check for example the nodes list and nodes list dot map. If this is true, then we want to render that particular value here, and let's save this, and let's check what we are getting. See, now we are this is coming. Now this is looking very horrible that we have to take care, but if I just refresh this page, you'll see that now for a fraction of time of second we are getting that notes data is loading. Please wait, just look it very carefully. All right, I'll refresh the page again. You'll see that. All right, now this is fine. If I just go to add notes page and if I come back, see data is loading and then we are getting the data, and this is coming because I think let's go to the eval part. We have given this display as flex, right? So we can give here flex wrap as wrap, and see now this is fine. Now let's add this one. So what we have to do, we have to go to this here, and here we can give right flex wrap as wrap. All right, now it will wrap all the elements basically. So now let's save this and let's check. All right, now this is fine. Now let's check whether, so I'll just add another one. All right, so I'll add here, for example, newly added just now to check. If I just add this and let's see newly added just now to check, so this is now getting updated automatically. And if I now refresh this page, this is coming. Let's add another one to check again. I don't know what name to give, so I'm just giving any random name. So if I just again click here, and you'll see that to check again, this is coming. So everything is now working. So now I think we have already have some basic idea how React and Redux Saga work. So we haven't focused much on CSS part, but I'm pretty sure that from functionality side, you will be able to work on this React and Redux. Although it will be a little bit difficult for the first time. The same thing happened with me also while learning, but once you will start basically practicing by your own, means you have to do hands-on coding, it will be really become very easy for you. So that is the reason I have chosen this very simple project, because for the first time if we just go into very complex project, it will be really difficult. So I'll also suggest you to start with a simple project, and then one by one or day by day you move to the complex project. All right, so now let's quickly recap the process once again. So I'll just give you a simple overview, is that what you have to do from the component, basically you have to dispatch the action first. All right, now once you dispatch this action, it will go to your actions. It will check which action you have dispatched from the particular component, and based on that you have to take this type and you have to go to your Saga. You have to trigger that Saga based on the type. All right, and then you have to do the certain operation you want to do here. For example, you want to do API call or like anything else, and then once you get the data back, or basically your functionality is completed, you just have to basically put the data. Now whatever data you will be putting here, this will go back to action, and from action you have to go to your reducer. It will check that whatever data we are getting, based on that it will do certain operation, and the action.type will be responsible for that. So whatever action.type you will be giving, based on that it will return updated state, and then based on that updated state in your component you have to use this use selector to get the updated state back. And also there is another thing we can do here. So if there is any error, so we can do here yield put, and I think we have also created another method, and that is if this is failed, so we can just trigger this. So if this is failed, and based on that we can do certain operation. All right, so this is basically the whole process how React and Redux Saga works. Alright, so I think that's all for this particular video. We have almost covered all the things. Now in the next video we'll sum up everything and that will be done.